Hey guys, welcome back to this week's freight market update. We're diving into the latest trends that are shaping this industry as of March 20th of 2025. First, we'll take a high-level look on what's driving the general freight market. Think capacity, diesel prices, volumes, rejections, and then we'll zoom into the spot market, breaking it down for dry vans, reefers, and flatbeds. And this week, I have found a way to break down the average spot rates for dry vans and reefers depending on the length of haul. And stay tuned till the end because at the end, I have quite an announcement. Ready? Let's go! All right, as always, all the charts are going to be attached right here. And first, we're starting with the general market. So let's take a look at capacity. And capacity, the number of MCs has increased by 97 carriers net week over week, which marks the third consecutive week of increases. The question is, what is happening with volumes in the general market for all equipment types? Blue line is us in 2025, green is 2024. As you can see, volumes have been below 2024 levels, and just recently they experienced a drop, although they seem to be climbing up a little bit right now. So the question is, what is happening with those rejection levels? Because that can kind of offset what is happening with volumes if rejections are high. Well, again, rejections are above 2024 levels. They have been all year. They experienced a pretty gnarly drop recently, but they seem to be climbing out of that ditch a little bit. And currently, rejection levels are at 5.35%. Finally, to close out our general market discussion, we'll take a look at diesel prices, which have been below 2024 levels, at least this time last year. They have been going down, thankfully. But just recently, if you take a look, there was a little uptick. Currently, diesel prices are at $3.63 per gallon, according to truck stops all over the United States. All right, now let's break down the spot market, starting with dry vans. So this data comes from FTR Intel, if you're interested in checking it out. Dry vans saw another week of decreases, a 6-cent per mile decrease on average on the spot market. Rates year over year are 1% lower. Volumes have fallen 1.5% week over week and are 8% lower than this time last year on the spot market. Now, usually when we talk about the better areas to go to, I give you the 5 top areas where more contract freight goes to the spot market, and then we look at whether the rates are increasing, decreasing, and truck capacity. This time I'm doing it a little bit differently. The top 5 are still there, but now these top 5 have the average rate per mile depending on the length of haul. So the top 5 areas where more contract freight ends up on the spot market are Atlanta, Georgia, Cincinnati, Ohio, Dallas, Texas, Houston, Texas, and Columbus, Ohio. Now, to the right of each of these market areas, you are going to see the average rate per mile. This is data that I compiled from the actual load board using a deadhead of 150 miles from that area, only full truckloads. And as you can see, usually the loads that are less than 300 miles long, they pay the highest. So it looks like everything is great, but you have to understand that unfortunately the gross in these areas is seldom over $1,000. It's usually $600, $500, $700 or so. So let's break it down this way. The top place where you can get a better rate per mile for a short haul, less than 300 miles, is Houston, Texas, and the average is $4.06 per mile. The top place where you can get a load that's between 300 and 700 miles is also Houston, Texas, at an average of $2.32 per mile. And the top place out of these 5 where you can get a higher rate per mile on 700 miles plus is surprisingly also Houston, Texas, but the average rate per mile is $1.93. All right, now let's do the same thing for reefers. So week over week, another week of decreases, 2 cents down on the spot market on average. Reefers are now at an average of $2.10 per mile. Rates year over year have gone down 4%. Volumes week over week are down almost 10%, 9.6%, and volumes year over year are down 12%. So, top 5 market areas where more contract freight ends up on the spot market for reefers are Fort Worth, Texas, Allentown, Pennsylvania, Omaha, Nebraska, Indianapolis, Indiana, and Joliet, Illinois. Now, out of these 5, the top place where you can get the highest average rate per mile for less than 300 miles is going to be Fort Worth, Texas, an average of $4.52. Again, I have not seen loads there that pay over $1,000, but the rate per mile is pretty decent. Now, when we're talking about 300 to 700 mile loads, the top place is Joliet, Illinois, $3.09 on average, according to yesterday's data and yesterday's posted loads. If we're talking over 700 miles, the top place is also Joliet, Illinois, an average of $2.39. Now, these rates, the one thing that I cannot show you here is the destination, right? From Joliet, Illinois, or 150 miles from Joliet, Illinois, the average is $2.39 for over 700 miles. But where does this load go? Does it go to Florida, which is a dead market, Denver, Colorado, or does it go to a good area? All right, last but not least, we have our flatbeds, and on the spot market, flatbeds actually saw a 7-cent per mile increase on average. Now, rates year over year are up 2%. Volumes week over week are almost 7% higher, 6.8%, and volumes year over year are 33% higher. Now, according to FTR, this could go one of two ways. Either this continues this trend, and that means that something is really changing for flatbeds, or it ends next month. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Now, unfortunately for flatbeds, I don't have the ability to figure out the best market areas. It's not that specific. So I use TruckStop in order to create these maps. So here we're looking at the load map. The darker an area is, the more loads come out of that area. And the thing that has changed is that there are way more places where there are over 2,000 loads. What is happening with capacity though? Well, capacity for the most part follows the loads, and there are way more places where there are over 2,000 trucks. But the real question is, what is the load to truck ratio? Well, let's take a look. Anything burgundy red like Colorado or Kansas, this is severe overcapacity. There is less than half a load per truck. Anything red like Texas or Oklahoma, still overcapacity, still less than a load per truck. Anything orange like Georgia, Kentucky, West Virginia, this is pretty much equilibrium, 1 to 1.5 loads per truck. But again, this data might be a little bit skewed depending on how many brokers reposted the same load over and over again, or how many trucks did not post their truck on the load board. Yellow, Massachusetts and California, this is slight undercapacity, 1.5 to 2 loads per truck. Green, Maine and Maryland, these are the only two, this is undercapacity, 2 to 3 loads per truck. Blue, Arkansas, Louisiana and Alabama, this is moderate undercapacity, 3 to 10 loads per truck. And as always, Mississippi has over 10 loads per truck, which is severe undercapacity. So I know that I usually do a data versus experience at the end of a market update video, but this week has been pretty mellow, nothing really stands out. That being said, I'm almost done working on something that I've been working on for a while that should help carriers and truckers. You guys want to direct shippers, right? How about getting access to over 80,000 verified ones? Stay tuned. It's a big project and I'm super excited to share the full scope of it with you guys soon. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining and watching today. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week and weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, and keep learning. See you in the next video.